See any reason not to approve the minutes for the last meeting? Our September 17th meeting. Anybody have any discussion, any comments? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the September 17th meeting?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
And if the commission pleases, as far as the adoption of today's agenda, I would like to add.
You need to do a full roll call for the approval.
Oh, we have to do a roll call?
Mhm,
Okay,
for the
pardon me.
approval.
Pardon me, we have to do
You're
a roll
good.
call. Okay. Walter Brown?
Yes.
Jameson?
Approval
Now we're
approval
now
for
we're
the
approving
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
So,
Yes,
Aye.
I approve.
Matt? Luke?
Aye.
Morning. Tiffany?
Aye.
Goodness. Yeah. All right. We're all in approval. Any nays? Okay.
Show the agenda.
All right. And I jumped a little bit ahead there to introduce our new board members, but I was so excited. You know, I'm always really happy to have new board members, so I get really excited about that.
We need to adopt, item D, we need to adopt today's agenda. And you said you want to make well, you don't have to do that because it's going to be another business. So
Okay, we'll put it on another business. All right. So our first order of business is 103 East Gordon Street.
We need to adopt the agenda. You haven't
We have
adopted that.
We have a job. Do
You
I
have to
do
adopt the
another round?
agenda. Yeah, you have to adopt
Okay,
it
because before we've just said yea or nay. Okay.
for the approval of the minutes. So everything's a step. So you approved all the minutes from
Right,
September 17th,
right.
and now we want to adopt the agenda for today. Do we have any issues with today's agenda?
Everyone in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay,
Now we're good.
disposed of that. Yep, okay, gotcha. Okay, sorry, 103 East Gordon Street, Mr. Jared Huckabee.
Jared, if you just want to come up and talk and give the council just a little brief description of what you want to do, what your plans are for the property up under consideration, and then we can go from there.
Sure.
And I'll just give a little foreground to before Mr. Huckabee speaks. So Mr. Huckabee has purchased the Hometown Printers property and is looking to do a restaurant concept there. Finding your packets, I actually printed out an updated version of these renderings. It starts right here. This is the updated version. He's got some internal concept renderings as well. So if you want to kind of give him a
Sure. So I guess obviously you guys have the packet with the renderings. Basically, to give you a brief, I mean, how deep do you want me to go? We should just structural here, or do you want me to kind of give a rundown of the whole thing? Or?
kind of give a rundown of what you're wanting to do,
Okay.
your timeline, as far as if this was to get approved today, when you would start kind of making these exterior improvements.
Okay. All right. So basically, like Taylor said, me and my wife, we bought the Hometown Printers business and building. We are continuing the business. What our goal would be, should this be approved, is to move the Hometown Printers business onto the square where People's Bank is now. That will eventually, People's Bank will be moving to another location March of next year. So we would move Hometown Printers into that space there where People's Bank is now. What we would like to do with this building is basically turn this, utilizing the major deficits we have in entertainment and food and shopping and nightlife, these kind of things in town. We would like to use this building to kind of go after that a little bit. So what we would like to do is recess the front of the building in a little bit so you have some outdoor seating, but still covered, much like Slices is.
Is this parking lot in the back or the front?
That is the view from the parking lot that's actually on the side. So-
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so, and the parking, and we do own the parking lot as well. So obviously we would refinish the parking lot. And the back side of the parking lot actually adjoins another owner as opposed to a city street. So that's something we would work out between the other owner. But as far as the parking lot goes, it is an 18-space parking lot right beside the building, and that's current. So what we would want to do is kind of recess in the front of the building a little bit, give some covered outdoor seating, like I said, much like Slices is. On the side of this building, there actually used to be a garage style door, like a roll-up door for deliveries in the back. We would like to open that back up and then add 2 more of those, like you should see on that picture right there that you're on, which would be, let's see here. Which you can see it even on the first page. Matter of fact, you'll just look at the first photo. It pretty much incorporates everything. So as you can see on the front there, we would like to recess that in. That's where there would be some outdoor seating and also covered seating. Right above that would be the installation of 3 windows. These would be very similar to the style here, which is kind of a mill style, much like the building where, who was in that building across from my office now? So there's several people.
Tidalway?
The Tidalway building, but it's the, their windows, the black windows they installed up there when they replaced those. Similar style window. The view from the parking lot here, the very far end door that you see on that actually was already there. They bricked it back up. So we would open that back up and then add 2 other doors that could be either always down or let up and down depending on the weather, those kind of things. And then of course that's just an installation, you'll see to the left of the first door, of just an additional entrance and exit to the property. So that would be what we'd like to do to the outside of the current structure. What we want to do is take all the brick, and by the way, just because the color may not be exactly the same on the building, we don't plan on painting the building or any of that. The building would be exactly the way it is now. We would just recess some of it and open some of this up. We would take any exterior brick that we were able to save to make the rooftop structure on top of the building. So you should be able to see a little clearer version of the rooftop structure. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. All right, it should be maybe the 4th photo where you can see a view from the roof. Go back one more, I think. Yeah, yours are pretty front and back, so I guess that's fine. Let's see. There you go. So, yeah, that photo there, where you can kind of see the view down on the roof. Basically, what that structure on the far end, and this was the slight modification due to some aesthetics that are behind us at the moment, and some structural issues with adding a bathroom. It was better to move this structure to the far end as opposed to the front. Basically, the plumbing is already on the back side of the building, so it helps to add a bathroom upstairs. We have to go back downstairs if you want to use the restroom. And then, of course, the views from this building are just tremendous from this side of the building. Because, I mean, now you can see downtown, you can see, the city lot that was just purchased, for the park. You got the wind stream. Unfortunately, from the backside, the views aren't as pretty at the moment. But, so until that gets cleaned up, we're going to just make it where you can't see. So, but that gives you an idea with that structure there. So as far as the exterior, structure of the building, it's just a matter of recessing the front end some, adding 2 doors, replacing the 1 door that was there, putting that back the way it is, and then adding, the windows up top. Currently, I mean, you guys, Hometown Printers has been there forever. So, I mean, at some point, I'm sure everyone has been inside Hometown Printers. What they've done at the moment is they boarded up one of the windows and they put the vinyl, the metal up. Well, just so you know, that's actually coming down now. and in the meantime, until we recess this, I was going to go ahead and put the window back the way it was. And that would, the storefront would even still be that way. It would just be recessed enough to fit some tables outside. So again, it's not a huge modification of the structure, but obviously it is. There are some changes to be made. So, and our goal here for the business side of things is down, and there should be an interior view which shows you the interior and the loft as well. Okay.
Brenda, I printed out a new version of Brenda. Did you get that?
So you can look at the view, this view here where it shows, this is basically from the north side of the building, looking back toward maybe where we are now. So imagine you were on the far end of the building looking this way, looking toward the front of the building itself. So here you can see there's a loft. There's already an existing loft in the building. I don't know if you guys have ever been back to the back. It's a sight to see, but
Well, they can't even walk back there. There's so much stuff.
yeah, I agree. I agree. We just put a new heating and air unit. Can you imagine them getting that upstairs back there? Yeah, it was, I think he charged me $7,000 for a unit and $10,000 to walk upstairs and put it in. But, no, but actually that, and believe it or not, those are almost all files from,
Years,
Wow.
years and years.
I mean, I think,
I know, they keep.
I think maybe Moses and those guys printed something at one point there and it files up there. And nevertheless, we're moving all that stuff out, anything pretty much 3 years and older. We're gonna digitize everything, put it into a computer, and then trash all that. So, but believe it or not, cleaned out, this is very similar to what that building looks like right now. So if you were to stand at the back of that building, the loft is there, the steps are there. I mean, that's exactly what it looks like. So we would obviously remove all that, clean it up, open it up. This would be more of a family style restaurant downstairs. So,
Is this the picture you're talking about, this is the way it is now?
well, I mean, that's not the way it is now, but as far as, you see the loft here?
Yeah,
See these steps that go up?
right.
All of this is here. This loft is already in this building. Matter of fact, the heating and air unit's right over here.
Well, that's hidden by so much.
It is. It's hidden by infinite
Yeah,
manila folders and
Yeah.
envelopes. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you know anybody buys folders, they'll probably pay for this whole thing by selling those folders. But nevertheless, these guys, they ran this business forever, and they kept track of everything. And it is. I mean, and it's a tremendous. I mean, we have people come in and say, hey, you know, I did this and this in 2006, and we can find it. I mean, they've got the record of it. So the record keeping was amazing. I would never, ever have been able to keep records that long. But now we're just going to digitize those records to where we can pull them up on a computer and then get rid of the paper itself. But that opens all of this up, which nevertheless, this would be the view from the back side of the building forward on the inside. So you would have the tables and seating downstairs. You would have a little bar downstairs, TVs downstairs. The loft would be just additional seating. So there'll be additional seating upstairs. And then from the loft is where you go to the rooftop. The rooftop would strictly be like a bar and lounge area. And there's photos somewhere rendering
Last
of the
page.
rooftop itself. Yeah, I think it was the last one. So essentially, if you were standing on top of the Windstream building, looking across at Hometown Printers, this would be your view, the rooftop version here.
Yeah, I've got that.
So,
Looks good.
so that would be, the bar structure would be in the back of the building. There would be a restroom back there with the bar structure. And again, this would be more of a lounge, which you could eat up here as well. It'll be accessible to everything that the building offers. But the point of this is more of a rooftop bar and lounge kind of thing. So,
Well, Mr. Huckabee, I commend you for your presentation. That's very
Thank you.
nice, and it looks beautiful. Right now, if you don't mind, the commission will open for discussion and questions.
okay.
And anyone?
Well, how about,
I do have a question for
Yeah,
you.
what's
First,
yours?
I commend you for this. I think it's fantastic as a young professional in this town. Just like logistically, I'm not an engineer by any means of the imagination, but the stairs coming up, I see like
Right.
a water issue there. What are you going to actually end up doing there? I know it's
basically,
just-
we have a structural engineer who, I didn't want to go too deep into having all these engineers and contractors coming out for you guys to tell me we can't do this, and then I paid those guys to do nothing. So, but in the conversations I did have to create these renderings, one of two things. The more likely way to handle that there is there'll actually be it's almost like a submarine style doorway
Okay.
that you can adjust and open. Now, it'd be, obviously, it's not going to be a submarine door down there.
Yeah.
But point is, you would close that and it would seal it off.
Okay.
So if you close down the upstairs, because what once the suggestions I had, which were a little cheaper to do, were to put a canopy. The canopy just blocks
Right.
the view from up. I mean, it's like, why am I making a rooftop bar if I can't see off the roof? So, the better concept that took a little more to do would be to actually just put doors that you close when you're not using the upstairs. And then obviously those are water sealed doors. So I mean, they keep the water out there. And then of course there's a lot of drainage system that has to go in place up there. I mean, it is a rooftop, so there's some additional things that have to go into account there as opposed to just a normal roof. But as far as the aesthetics of it, you wouldn't see a canopy or anything to that effect.
Awesome.
Do you have anything to add, Taylor?
Could you give us a timeline? I know you said that your goal now with the hometown move being kind of pushed back due to
Yeah. Basically, what my goal was, honestly, I was hoping to have this even finished closer to maybe the 1st of February. The issue is, like I was saying, we did purchase and we are operating and even doing a lot of work in enhancing the Hometown Printers business as well. So what's happened is, it's a long chain of things. People's Bank purchased the building where Trentus Dumas is now, the old Southcrest Bank building at Walmart up on the hill. Well, they're moving their location there, and they were going to have that move this year. Well, now that's been pushed back to March. So because that's been pushed back to March, it pushes us back moving Hometown Printers into the People's Bank building that they're in. So that's what's has kind of set us back. Now, assuming everything's good with this is probably something that still we would start on the building right away. So the first thing we would do is install a door on the parking lot side where customers could still come in that door, and then we would start recessing the front. Again, this is totally dependent on the contractor, what they see as far as doing which step first. But it's really not, even though it looks like a huge difference, it's not as much modification as you would think. So it's just a matter of, as far as the roof goes, some structural things that have to be put in place, some drainage systems that have to be put in place. The rest is mainly just removing some brick, removing some modifications that have been made, like the metal that's been placed on the front, and there's some stucco on the front that looks really bad under the metal, so that's going to have to be totally stripped, to bring it back to the actual brick building. But as far as starting it, I mean, we would probably get started on this within a couple weeks. And now the plan would be, now the plan would probably be April. Yeah.
Jameson, do you have any historical?
Oh, well, Jared has already asked me for historical info.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to incorporate some original things, like you had mentioned, like the old movie theater, if I could find, some images of maybe what their sign looked like and those kind of things. I'd love to be able to incorporate that kind of stuff in the building. We also plan on incorporating a lot of, historic Thomaston stuff.
Right,
in the building,
and from
whether
an
it be imagery or
exterior,
whatever.
from an exterior point, it certainly looks in keeping with the downtown area,
Sure,
and
sure.
it's a really nice concept. Sort of reminds me of a Taco Mac with the doors there on
Matter
the
of
side.
fact, I'm literally have to drive an hour to eat a Taco Mac now.
Me too.
I want to be able to watch Mac. Really? I want to be able to watch any game I want to watch while I eat.
And lots of beer.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be plenty of beer, I'm sure. I guess you guys also own Sunny's Out Beverage, so I'm assuming you guys know that. That's where this came from, the concept, the logo. So we did, that's in the county, but,
Yeah.
I just think it's a missing piece to Thomaston, for sure, so.
Yeah, I love the design. Actually, I really like those lamp poles that you have on the
Yeah?
stairs. Yeah, I thought those were.
You can get those at Home Depot.
Those are classic.
They really like them.
They look good. But,
I think highly of them, I promise. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, and that's, more of a subtle lighting, so it's not like,
Mhm.
this is definitely not a club or anything to that effect, so.
Yeah. My only question is, just in the downstairs with those doors,
Mhm.
I guess like I've been to some places where they have those doors and it's great. And then I've been to others where like in the winter they weren't very insulated. And
Right.
you're stuck sitting next to the door and you're freezing.
Sure, sure.
So I guess is there a
Yeah,
way
I've been to those places as well. And
Yeah.
so I'll tell you the concept behind the doors. There's a place, I don't know if you've been to downtown Noonan. There's a place very similar to this, very similar to downtown Noonan, where there's 2 garage doors.
Okay.
And I've emailed the guy that built the guy that owns the place. He didn't build it, but he said that he actually ordered a specific industrial door so that wasn't an issue.
Okay.
So I'm assuming I'll be able to get the same work. Yeah. And I'll tell you too, I talked with Stan Pitts. I don't know if you guys know him. He in town. He's looking at replacing that window for me, and he says that he also has a guy who, because again, the way I look at this is, I want to be able to sit in here. I mean that's kind of the main point is for me to be able to sit in. But it's but no. So that's in mind. Is that look? I want something that I'm okay sitting right there and doing it as
Right.
well. So, but anyway, so yeah, those doors, it's kind of it can be a problem, in situations where you're like, what you're talking about, but we'll make sure that that's not an issue either way.
Okay.
So,
And yeah, so as far as historically, all I've been able to gather so far is it started as the Palace. It was built around February of 1925. Later on, it was Star Grocery Store. I
Right.
found that in the deeds yesterday, so I have.
and it was
that
actually
for
a
you.
billiard hall at some point.
Okay.
For a short time. And then I
Yeah.
think that must have been at that point when Mr. Pitts purchased the building and moved Hometown Printers there. And that's what it's been ever since.
Cool, sounds good. I love it. Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other commission members?
Do you plan on putting a sign in this spot right here, or is this gonna be?
That's a mural. That's a painting. So what I would like to do, and I've even mentioned it to Taylor, is finding someone locally to paint that. And if you'll notice, there's actually another one on the alleyway as well. Somewhere here. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Yeah, so that would strictly be a mural style painting.
We have good painters in this town.
I know, I've seen many of them. I see, especially with fire hydrants too. I've been meaning to ask Lane, whoever the young
Anna-
girl painted
Anna
the one that
Hightower.
rescued me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And a hot tower, yeah.
She won,
She did also-
scared of heights. 'Cause No, but, yeah, so there's definitely people that can do that, for sure.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
So
Y'all good with me to sit down?
Yeah.
you can relax now and prop your feet up.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
So staff's recommendation is obviously to approve this. We're very excited for this addition into downtown Thomaston. We think that it's just fulfilling a need that is, as Jared said, definitely present. We don't have anything like this in the community, and I think he'll be slam packed from the beginning. So if you guys don't see anything that's an issue, I recommend that we go ahead and motion to approve this.
I make a motion to approve it.
And, do I hear a second? All right, all in favor? Any nays? Unanimous?
Awesome.
It's agreed. So we shall issue a certificate of appropriateness and can't wait till it opens. That's great. And before we move on to
See
the
all of y'all
next.
there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll come and help.
We'll take that for sure.
Now, before I move on, I would like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Doug Head. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I will just say what you said earlier. I'm really thankful for all of you that serve on these committees because it takes up your time. But I'm so glad to see people that have an interest and a passion in what they do, and thankful for the new appointments to Luke and Matt. I think that, I know both of y'all work. You're taking your time to do this. I appreciate it. Jameson, you can show my age and know that I used to go in Star Grocery and buy baseball cards and bubble gum and stuff like that. And it's I wish we had some maybe archival pictures of that.
I was hoping so.
Yeah, it'd be neat to see if there's anything. I remember it. I had a screen door on it, but nevertheless, I really appreciate what he's going to do with this, and it's the beginning of a lot of good stuff.
Still digging, but we have plenty of Palace Theater ads, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good story on the walls.
Sounds great. All right. So our next application is, are you going to represent Dave Piper? Okay. Taylor's going to tell us about the application for the Fund 101 sign, since Dave Piper couldn't be here today. All right, Taylor, what we got?
So Mr. Piper submitted a request to update his signage on the exterior of the Fund 101 building. He's wanting to do a sign on the front of the building, replace the lettering, and also do a door sign. You can see that in your packet right there. I've talked to Bobby about this as far as being in compliance with our sign ordinance. It is. He sees no issues with it. I believe Mr. Piper is looking to apply for this using our facade grant. So this would be approved here and then move to the DDA to discuss the facade grant he's wanting to get.
All right.
Any questions?
Open for discussion? Questions?
So staff recommendation is to, motion to approve this.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve the signage for Fun 101? Jameson, second? Luke? All right, all in favor? Any nays? All right. Approved for Fun 101 signage. Nice. All right, so our next. All right, on 201 South Center Street, Mr. Broderick Foster. The signage is,
Casey's here to speak for Mr.
oh,
Foster.
okay, good. And your name is?
Casey Coker.
Casey, come on up, Casey.
Have something on that?
Yeah, so she'll be the next
That's
thing.
right, we're back there on the.
Mr. Foster and Mr. Coker have recently opened a Battle City Games, and they have already put up a door sign because they were unaware of the historic preservation sign requirements. I stopped by there and let them know what they had to do to get into compliance, so they're here to make sure they're in compliance with our historic preservation and the signage requirements in downtown. So as you can see in the picture, they have the little door sign on there. You know, I want to make sure that's good to go with you guys, and they want to add just the white lettering to the canopy right there. So I'm gonna let Mr. Coker kind of explain what his business concept is, what they're doing, and then if you guys have any questions as far as what they want to do regarding the signage.
All right. So the basic operation of our business is a typical game store. Where you can buy, sell, and trade used games, also sell new stuff. But we're incorporating a lot of trading card games, so it'll be interactive, like strategy-based stuff that there's nowhere to play in the community, and the nearest place, pretty much our way in every direction. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon stuff. And then we also do like we have setups for like, coming in and gaming by the hour. We're gonna like, have tournaments for that. Pretty much sums it up. We also like have cell phone accessories. We're gonna be doing repairs on phones, plans. And then once we get everything set up with the arcade room and gaming, we're gonna have a big like banquet type room. I'm sure y'all are familiar with the building.
It's in the Fincher building. It's on the second story of the Fincher building.
Right next to the 2-Act.
Yeah, so it's upstairs.
Yeah, we're gonna probably rent it out for like birthday parties and stuff at some point. But we gotta get that all, in order and finished.
So I've connected Broderick with the SBDC representative, the Small Business Development Center representative, Mr. Carlisle, out of Columbus, to start helping him with his business plan to make sure, because I think this is a great idea. You know, our youth need somewhere to go and interact with other youth. That's a big thing. The card games he's referencing, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, they have a huge following, and he's right. There's places in Macon and Columbus and Atlanta that have these venues where they can host tournaments and get kids in downtown. You know, I think it's a great concept. We really want to see Battle City be successful in downtown Thomaston. So we don't have any issues with what they're trying to do as far as signage. And I've discussed this with Bobby as well, and Bobby said everything's good with it. So staff's recommendation is to approve their signage, get them into compliance.
Open for discussion?
I just wonder personally about the parking.
Parking.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta do something about the parking.
Yeah, parking
that's not
definitely
really
is
our
an
issue.
issue.
Yeah.
The square. But from my experience, just parking to get out and go into my business, pretty much spots in front of the old Papa John's building are typically always available. There's parking, right there on the side, across where the Bay Lane side is. There's typically a couple spots open, and then around the front right there.
Is there anything in the back of that building?
Tempe, there's a plan to have for the parking in downtown, and that's all part of the master plan, and that's not something we need to consider. We just need to consider the facade.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I was just
Can you-
concerned about nobody could park. They couldn't go to the
Right.
That is something we
Right.
recognize as the DDA and downtown Thomaston. It's just something we're trying to address. We do have that DDA parking lot over there behind Baby Lanes that we're looking to do better as far as wayfinding. And we have 485 parking spots within a 2-block radius of downtown Thomaston.
Right.
We need to the city is working to do a better job of providing signage and improving access to those parking lots. So that is something that we're working on, because we identified that as an issue as
Yeah.
well.
I just
There
didn't
is.
want you to not have anybody could park.
Yes, I mean,
They're not
luckily
gonna drop the
most,
kids off and go around square.
And I will say, you know, until we start our development on this grass lot over here behind Windstream across from Tucker, that's public parking. That's open. It's an open lot to anyone. So like if they were to host an event, you know, that's a block from the Venture building. So that would be
That's
open
good.
for them.
That's good.
Sorry. All right, so I'm glad we're gonna have some parking. Can you explain where the sign, where the lettering is gonna be on the awning?
So it would be on that bottom portion. It'd be right here.
Okay, and how large is it gonna be?
So it's going to be just like 2X new signage. So it'd be like the tickets and activities signage. I mean, it's like that.
On that bottom lip?
Yeah, just on that bottom lip,
Okay,
because that's what the sign ordinance mandates, that it's on that bottom lip. So it couldn't be up here.
right, gotcha, okay. All right, any other discussion?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Taylor, on that lot we're talking about, so existing public parking.
Yes.
You need the signage on it?
Yes, sir. We have put a sign up. It was installed probably about 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Have
And we are working with our city engineer to do a parking lot and something else on that property, to provide more parking
Yeah, and
downtown.
that's something we can put on our agenda.
They
if
want to
you'd
get the
like to.
semis from going around Fort Square.
Yeah, we can put that on our agenda if you'd like to discuss
They
it.
need a bypass so bad.
Thank you for bringing
Thank
this to
you.
us today.
Thank you, Casey.
Thanks, Casey. Do I hear a motion to approve the signage?
I'll make a motion.
All right. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
You're on your way.
So now we're approved. Okay, parking and all. All right, so that concludes the application process. If you all want to stay, you're welcome to. If you're free to go if you want while we do our other business, but you're certainly welcome to stay. All right. We had bylaws presented, and have you all had time to take a look at it and have recommendations?
I did have one change that was made.
Okay.
Section 5, staff. So I updated that to put myself as the technical and clerical assistants for the Preservation Commission, because that is listed under my job titles.
Right,
My
okay.
job duties with the city of
Great.
Thomaston. So that's the only change that I felt needed to be made.
Okay. So a couple of things on these bylaws is that it does spell out how we conduct our business. You know, we have the ordinances that we go by, but this is how we actually conduct our meetings. And it talks about attendance at meetings, because we do need to get work done, and we need people to come, and so we need an option to be able to have people come and go, so that's in here. Also, a code of ethics, I feel like is extremely important, that anybody on a city commission should be operating under a code of ethics, and that's been incorporated into our bylaws. So does anybody have any questions about our bylaws? It does allow for election of officers from ourselves rather than to be appointed. Is that, you know, so if there's any question about that, you know, please read it and give Taylor the feedback so he can finish it up and present it to the city council for approval. Any other discussion on bylaws?
So staff's recommendation is, I've vetted this, I've worked through this with Russell as well. You know, he doesn't see anything that looks out of place. The issue with it is we currently cannot find our HPC bylaws. They are MIA, and we have to have those. So staff's recommendation is to go ahead and let's approve this, so that way we can submit this to city council as our new HPC bylaws. And if so, it would be approved at the next city council meeting, and this would be our working DDA bylaws.
The only question I have with this is the first Monday of each month going to be the set meeting time,
Yes.
or are we going to, okay.
So it would be, we are establishing a set meeting time moving forward. That can be seen on Section 4, Item A, regular meetings of the commission shall be held on the first Monday of each month at X.
That's what-
So, and if we have, so it's first Monday of each month at time, 2 p.m. has been what we've been doing as far as meetings. Does that work for everybody else?
Okay.
And if, if we don't have.
And
any-
obviously, if we need to adjust that based off of, something that comes up, we can, but we are wanting we want to have a set, the HPC board, we're going to have more meetings where we have 3 items of certificate of appropriateness up for discussion, and we need to make sure that we have a scheduled, this is when we're going to meet. And obviously, if something comes up where we don't have this, I'm not going to have us come up here and meet for no reason. But moving forward, if we have stuff on the docket to approve, I want to say, okay, well, this is when our next HPC meeting is, and let's go ahead and let the people that are trying to do business, that way they know. Because right now, I just kind of, okay, well, when we get something, we can meet, and, what works for everybody versus moving forward, I would like to have a dedicated time. I'm doing the same thing with my DDA board moving forward.
And two, if we can also have work sessions like we had the luncheon the other day. And if we have things to work on outside of our regular meeting, but at least we know when we're going to be there, if we have something to
Do
approve.
your meetings normally go an hour?
About an hour is the goal.
Okay.
I'm trying to provide you recommendations on what we've identified so we can work through this and get out of here. Because I
Okay.
appreciate you guys sacrificing your time, and I don't want to hold you
Well,
up.
it's just got to be back to work.
I understand. Exactly. I understand completely. And that's why I want to come in here, knock it out, and get you guys back to work.
Okay.
We appreciate you all that work and take time to come. We really do.
We do.
All right. Do I hear
Any other
a
questions?
I have
A
more questions.
question
Yes, ma'am.
about the attendance.
Yes, ma'am.
Will consideration be given in odd
Yes, ma'am.
cases
Yeah,
where
Of
a
course.
person-
Absolutely.
Of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely.
This is more so because we do have a couple members that I haven't seen and I haven't
Right.
met yet, and I've been in my job since May.
Right.
And I appreciate their service on this board, but right now I have no way as to fill their spots because they're not active members, and I need people like Luke, like Matt, like yourselves that want to be here and want to be a part of this, because this board plays a very important role, especially now with the momentum we have moving forward in downtown Thomaston. I really expect to have more days like this where we have 3 certificates of appropriateness to look at. So I need members that are dedicated and can take the time, but we will pay, consideration to events.
Yeah,
Life
absolutely.
happens.
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to accept the bylaws so Taylor can present those?
So moved.
Do you have a second? Sounds, there's a little mouse over there. All in favor? All right.
Awesome.
Thank you for the discussion.
Other business?
Other business. I don't know if you all are, just want to throw this out, and Andrews Chapel. There's been some discussion about preserving Andrews Chapel, and I think there's been discussion between the county. I think the county owns it. I'm, done all the ins and outs of it, but there have been efforts to preserve it, and it looks like that the Georgia Historic Preservation Trust people are coming tomorrow to look at it, and I'm sure that anyone on the council would be welcome to go. So if you need any details, y'all get in touch with me, and I'll tell you when and where.
What time is that tomorrow?
What time is it, Jameson?
10 a.m.?
10, yeah. So we'll go out and show our support. The McKinleys have been just such an important part of preserving the history. It seems like they have everything that, they've got, they probably got the mayor's baby shoes bronzed, they've got everything they got. And when we had the Smithsonian, their contents that they brought was just overwhelming. They have so many wonderful things. So they're just a great part of the community and have been very faithful servants of the historic preservation. So if anybody wants to go to Andrews Chapel tomorrow, just let me know, and I'll even pick you up. I can drive in the daytime. I can see in the daytime, so we're good.
The only other business I have, I've given you guys a flyer for our Christmas parade and market. It's going to be held on December 17th. We're doing seasonal food and vendors, so we're trying to keep it more festive, you know, hot chocolate, ciders, funnel cakes, and then vendor-wise, like Christmas ornaments, Christmas decorations, homemade crafts and stuff like that, you know, more quality seasonal items. We're looking to do carolers and have some choirs on the square, you know, work with our high school, middle school, and elementary schools to have some local choirs on the square. Santa's going to be in the courthouse up until the parade, and then we'll do the parade beginning at 7. So I'm going to be pushing this out to everyone tomorrow. I just wanted to let everyone know. And, you know, anyone that wants to do a parade, float, or wants to do a vendor, they want to be a vendor, an application for a vendor, just give them my information, come reach out to me. But I will be pushing all this out on Facebook tomorrow and the city website. And then we are working on something else in the park that I'm working on. We'll see.
Sounds great. And wonderful job on Georgia Cities Week, Taylor.
Yes.
That was wonderful. We had so many, and Jameson, your historic tours were fantastic. Just absolutely great. I hope everybody enjoyed it downtown and all the.
Yeah, the fire hydrants are getting finished up. If you hadn't noticed, our high school students have finally been able to come out this week, and they're finishing up theirs. The youth art wall on the side of Baby Lanes is finished. If you haven't noticed, Baby Lanes is almost finished their exterior renovations, which look much better. Mm-hmm. They look awesome. You know, so we got a lot of stuff. If you haven't heard, we got the rural zone designation. So we'll have that presented to us by Commissioner Nunn on November the 4th. And then I have a training on November the 3rd to learn about the qualification process and, you know, start learning about the program with our contacts at the state. But those state tax credits will go into effect January 1. So I'm looking to hopefully get a couple more projects moving forward.
Thompson loves those fire hydrants. I mean, everybody loves
Great.
them.
You know, and we had a really great response. We had 22 total hydrants, and between the middle school, the high school, and then just people in the community, we had almost 60 proposals, which is what we wanted, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, Thomaston's the kind of place you got to see it to believe it. And now that people have seen, wow, they painted those fire hydrants, everyone else wants to paint a fire hydrant.
Yes.
So we're hoping to incorporate that into a larger spring art festival next year and expand that into, you know, say 50 hydrants or 75 hydrants. I would love to get to the point where within the entire downtown development authority district, we have painted fire hydrants every year. You know, just because it's something very unique, and it kind of just pops personality of our community all throughout town.
Right. It does. Makes everybody happy.
And right, and it brings attention to our downtown and our historic area. It's just going to be, it's moving forward.
Yeah.
Right. Any other new business?
And just get our bell tower on the courthouse and
Yes, that's right.
I'm saying.
It's still in Texas.
Jameson's going to personally put that up there when it goes.
Oh, me.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all so much.
Hey, Jane, let me just say one last thing to y'all as to how much I appreciate the fact that what y'all did today. Y'all did bring a certificate of appropriateness.
Hey, no wonder it did.
And if you've seen the master plan and what's, you know, the $136 million gap, I think we're gonna have, what you saw Jared present, I think is an example of what could come. And just as important is how to protect the beauty and the core of what we've got downtown in this historic district. And in the past, there's probably been some things that have happened that might, had it come at this time, might not have been approved or whatever. But I just want to say that y'all's job going forward with this kind of opportunity and the rural designation and the incentives, that y'all are probably going to see a lot. And I'm thankful that y'all are all have a passion and an interest in saying, yeah, we've got some real jewels downtown. And if you see what Jared did, sometimes the jewel is buried under some old clothes.
Isn't that the truth?
And And how do we reveal that? How do we make that like facade advance, make that more possible? But still, it's got to come in front of you to sort of say, this is appropriate. This is appropriate, but that is not. And so we're accomplishing a couple of things in that we want this change and want this good, but we also want to preserve that beautiful historic core that's there. And that's where y'all's job is going to be very important. So to see 3 come before you today and sort of have an accountability factor for what's done and how it's done, I appreciate it. And again, I appreciate all you who take your time to go do this. And
We
one
appreciate
thing
your
you'll find out
comments.
about Taylor is Taylor's pretty, and Jane, I appreciate you chairing this, but at our DDA meetings, sometimes those have sort of slid into longer. Taylor's very efficient.
That's right, and we appreciate those kind words, and, you know, we're doing our best to be forward-thinking, and, you know, I think the perception of HPC in the past has just been, we're sitting up here waiting to tell people, no, you can't do it, and that's not it at all. We should always try to get to yes when we can, and, you know, to help, you know, of course, we're working with some really old stuff here. You know, our design guidelines are from, what, 1998 or something, but I'm just so happy that everybody's here and we're enjoying what we're doing, and we're just learning, you know, as we go.
Positions, are there any open positions right now, or are they all filled?
I think there's going to be one, possibly 2. We have a place
So yeah,
for
right
9.
now there's none, but once we get these bylaws approved, more than likely there'll be 2 more positions that open.
Yeah, so none right now, because we got those.
Right.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Thanks, everybody. Gosh, now just think, now next time we can all just adjourn and go have a beer over on the corner.
Right, go down to the.
What time is the meeting tomorrow?